Here's someone with a real background in civic engagement. And when it comes to the elections and when it comes to getting community centered civic engagement and voter registration, she's done real work. So impressive. How about it for Jasmine Burney, everyone? Hi, Jasmine Burney. How are you?
I am well. How are you, Mark?
I'm well.
Good.
The Equal Ground Education Fund. Tell us the origin story, and then I really want to get into some of what you've done because it's pretty impressive.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it. Equal Ground Education Fund is a 501c3 nonprofit organization founded in 2019. We were founded shortly after Ron DeSantis took office in the winter of 2019. It was also a short time after we here in Florida passed a citizens amendment to allow returning citizens or formerly incarcerated people the ability to get their rights restored automatically. When they received their rights restoration, Governor DeSantis decided that he wanted to institute a poll tax in as a result to make it incredibly hard for people to be able to access the ballot box. And we thought, well, who was focusing on voters? Full time, year round, but particularly voters in Black communities. We know that a large portion of returning citizens were Black individuals and wanted to figure out a way to just prioritize our advocacy 365 days, not just around the election cycle. And that's how we were founded. We wanted to really be the watchdogs around the legislative process. What was coming out of it, we did not know how brutal it would get. We didn't know how busy we would become. And as a result, here we are still beating the pavement here in Florida every single day to help ensure that voters are educated about the electoral process. And then we also litigate on their behalf as well.
So I know you're not a spokesperson for the Black community anyway. I mean, it's a Black-led civic organization. That's why I can even say that with a laugh. But I do want to try to get a sense of where the Black voters that you have indeed marshaled in a way to have energized them to participate, where they are. I mean, are they dejected? Are they re-energized? Are they optimistic? Just give me an attitudinal suggestion as to where that group is. Again, understanding that that Black votership, like any kind of group in America, is not monolithic.
Correct. Not monolithic. However, they are a voting population that has been constantly targeted by both federal and state lawmakers. Their votes have been targeted. Their freedom to access the ballot box has been targeted. And so, although not monolithic, they seem to be a high priority for these institutions to remove their power. And so, what I would say is that our work really, centers the ability to be able to empower Black voters around voter education, making sure that they are aware, making sure that they know what the tools are that are available to them so that they then are able to engage in the process. Our motto as an empowered community is engaged one. And so if we give them the tools, we help them work through that process, we can then see what their engagement looks like. And so a defeatist attitude is not how we enter this space. We know people power is the power that is prioritized within the work that we do and within the community. I'll even tell you, when we started taking folks to Tallahassee, we started with a group of 20 folks. And this past year, that was in 2020? This past year, we took 300. So we're seeing growth. We're seeing the interest despite the attacks mounting on our community. There's more involvement from people who want to get involved.
Well, the attacks mounting on your community, actually, I love that you reference it because in a sense, it underscores how important the community is. They wouldn't be attacking that community if they didn't have any real power. So by virtue of the fact that they're attacking us, you know that we have real power.
That's it. That is correct. There is that old saying that if our votes didn't matter, no one would be working so hard to take them away.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Yes. So that's what we're experiencing.
And I have to say this, just you are such a good spokesperson for this. I mean, I can see why you're a community leader. You just have this indomitable sort of way about you, and it's a really great quality to have. So just apart from everything, I just need to remark on that. We were talking before in the last segment about about Florida and attempts to redistrict there, sort of in the manner that Texas has redistricted, a
Yes.
way to squeeze more GOP seats out of that state. Thoughts on that?
Yes, I would say that Florida is once again at the center of a redistricting sort of battle where our governor and we're looking at Texas's Governor Abbott are racing to the front to be, folks who carry the water for President Trump. They are working to ensure that they, gentrify and gerrymander and wipe away as many Black access and Brown access districts as they possibly can. We have been here before. We have constantly been here in the state of Florida. And so much so that in 2010, Florida voters put a ballot initiative on the ballot that said you cannot create maps that are politically partisan and racially partisan or racially gerrymandered. You cannot do that. Now, that is not the same rule on the books in Texas. They don't have that. And although we have it in the state of Florida, our governor, who has handpicked this, Supreme Court, has decided to completely blow past the fact that voters have made a very clear decision by cementing it in our Constitution. So we are seeing this constant attack every single day, not just through the voter suppression, but also through our voting rights and now through the maps that they are attempting to redraw. Let me also remind you that we just went through a census process in 2020 where Governor DeSantis was the governor and where Trump was the president. And so it's quite odd that this is a decision that they want to make at this time when they were empowered then and had full control over the count, but now want to say that they don't believe the count was done correctly.
Yeah, there's a narrative that's served by all of this. It's very hard now in America, and I understand we were always beset by some kind of political rhetoric of one sort or another, but it's really hard now to separate sort of the rhetorical narrative from the actual political narrative, and some rhetoric's in service of both, some is just in service of kind of pushing out some propaganda, and while the right hand is doing the real lift on the politics of it all. So are you optimistic then, as we roll around to midterms, that there might be a marshaling of those who didn't vote, who weren't motivated for whatever reason the last time, coming out of COVID, Biden, smeared by the GOP, I'd suggest, effectively, perhaps kept people home at best, and at worst, maybe they even voted against the Democrat, even though the Democrat was Kamala Harris in the general. I'm wondering in the midterms, I understand it's not going to be top of ticket right yet with an issue of the sort that I just described, but are you optimistic about the midterms?
I'm optimistic, and I'm optimistic about two things specifically. One is definitely about the voters. It's definitely about communities that are coming together right now who understand, and I think understand a little bit more about how our government agencies work, who holds the power, where that power lies, and how it is then distributed. But I am also optimistic about the leaders who are stepping up at this time. When you think about a Gavin Newsom in California, or you're thinking about a Westmore in Maryland, who are saying, listen, it is time out for playing by the rule books that no one seems to want to respect or abide by. We have to make certain decisions that protect democracy, even if they don't look like or feel like the democracy we have always known it to be. And that is what I am optimistic about, seeing new leaders emerge through this time period that we can also lean in with and on to depend on what could possibly take shape as we head into 2026.
I'm, again, with mad respect, applauding your efforts there. And I think it's so easy to get dejected. I must confess, I have my significant moments of dejection.
Yeah.
And you can't have those in the work you do, because you have a real goal and it's paying off. I mean, these goals you have to, again, animate these voters, get them out there, get them organized, get them excited every week about different issues. And the politics of Florida, like the politics everywhere, is local. So their vote matters. And so I'm delighted and excited for the work you do, and I'm really glad that you could join us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Give me a website that we'll post to it. Tony, will you put this under this video? He's got it up there now. The
Perfect.
best website is?
It's equal-ground.com. And then you can follow us on all social at Equal Ground FL.
We will have links to both under this video. There it is, equal-ground.com. And again, founder of Equal Ground, there she is, Jasmine Burney. Jasmine, so glad again that you stopped through. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
All the best and good luck.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell, you'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.